So my name's John Fellows. I'm the head of communications for the big lottery fund in Scotland, which, if you buy lucky dip tickets, 28 pence every pound ticket you buy goes to a good cause, and the big lottery fund gets 14 pence for that, about half the money, and we find charities and good causes to give that money to. It's a terrible PR job, giving money to charities for a living, but it's what pays my mortgage and what I do. I've had a couple of different PR jobs over time. Before that, I was the head of communications for the Scottish National Party, and I worked there in London and also at the Scottish Parliament up to and including the 2007 Scottish Parliament election. So I've got a kind of different and varied PR experience, but a lot of the skills, a lot of the challenges are similar, and the challenges and the opportunities that are posed by digital communications are the same and kind of similar for a lot of PR guys, because what PR is, because it's supposed to start to say what PR is and what it isn't. Right? That I suppose what it's not is telling people stuff. Right? I think a lot of people say, is that your job? Your job is to get stuff in the paper or stuff on the telly, or and tell people about what it is you're selling or asking them to do. Okay? And that's a very sort of broadcast orientated way of doing things. And communication for that's actually only one way. It's from you to somebody else. Just telling people stuff. That's not good enough. What PR should be about is about having a dialogue and having a conversation with the right sort of people. So when I was when I worked with SNP, it wasn't just I wouldn't get you to vote a particular way if I just told you everything there was to know about our policies. Right? Because people don't actually, that wouldn't work. What you want to have is you want to have a conversation with people. You want to ask them what they think, ask them what they want. You want to get the information back from them and then use that to change the way that you run your business and run your organisation, what you're offering. Same with what I do just now. Right? I'm the head of communications, I'm the PR guy. But my job's to find good charities to apply for us for money. And so that's not about just telling people everything there is to know about these wonderful grant programmes that they might have. It's about meeting an audience and talking to them, and having a conversation with them. So that's what PR is about. It's about managing that communication. It's about hearing what people have got to say as well as telling people what you're doing. But also it's about processing that information within the organisation to make your organisation better. So occasionally I've got stuff on the telly and I've got stuff in the newspapers, and that's a big part of, a major part of what we do. But the emergence of digital technology and digital communications is already having a significant impact on what you do and how you communicate to large numbers of people. What I would say is that, I don't talk about digital, I say at the start that the newspaper guys here know that people still buy newspapers and still watch the telly, and there's still a lot of that stuff to be done, and it'll still happen. But that won't do it. The emerging market and the emerging way to do it is an online and digital forms. So we talk about that more than else. And actually what it does for PR guys like me is it means that public relations is about talking to the public for the first time. Because public relations guys used to talk to the public. Right? They used to talk to journalists and newspaper editors and broadcasters, and they would talk to the public for them. But now the PR guys actually get to talk to the public directly, and that's quite a change in the dynamic of the relationship that we've got. But what it also means is there's actually quite a big change in the power dynamic. And I saw my blog, the thing on LinkedIn the day, and Andy was selling me to you all by my love of going to Adelaide and Hope Street. This is a usual place for lunch, and I'm fond of lunch. I quite like a lunch. But for me, it's not as an integral part of my my day job as it perhaps would have been 10 or 20 years ago. Because I don't take journalists out, because taking journalists out for lunch isn't as productive or doesn't give you as much return as it used to do. Because if you can talk directly to your customers, you talk directly to your public, you don't need these guys as much as you used to do. And that power relationship means that you're not just talking to a small number of people. So if you wanted people in Scotland to know about your product or your organisation, or you wanted to change their behaviour, which is what I used to do. What I do now is I'm trying to change my customers' behaviour and trying to get them to do something in an efficient way. What I used to do is I used to get people to act, to do something that they had never done before for the first time for a lot of them. So my job is a political PR guy, get people to do something they've never done before. How do you get them to that place? Can you just tell them stuff about it? So, but the relationship there is, if you have to go through newspapers or TV, you can do that by knowing 20 people in Scotland. And it's all very close and tight and networked. And if you're in with that crowd, you're in with that crowd. The digital's a bit more democratic, I think. Sorry, I don't know. But I think it's a bit more democratic and but harder, actually, sometimes to get your message across. Because you're talking directly to people. And a good example of this, actually, I think, is I suppose I thought I'd talk about football and politics. Right, is that all right? So, okay, football and politics, all right. That's it. Exactly. Talk about something I know a wee bit. Whereas, if you used to, for Rangers, it's been a very interesting PR journey over the last year, right? And actually, what Rangers used to do really well is they used to have all the Scottish journalists in Hawk, and used to buy them lamb for their dinner, and take them all out, and they all used to write nice stories about what was going on, and used to tip people off, and used to write up what they told them to write up. Right? And that's actually how sports journalism continues to work. Right? It's very it's a way to describe it actually, but they're all in, it's like they're a big club, newspapers and football clubs, and they're all in it together to make sure that nobody's left out and everybody gets the right story. It's all very organised and agreed in a gentlemanly fashion between them. So they're not looking for stories the way journalists should be looking for stories and underline things. And how digital affected all that relationship is the Rangers tax case blog, where a bunch of, I imagine, Celtic fans who were accountants looked through the Rangers accounts and their business work, and they detailed the challenges and the story of Rangers Football Club and HMRC and their taxes. And the papers didn't cover it, because Rangers had all that paper, had the newspapers covered. But this group of Celtic fans on the blog, with access to people directly, without having to go through that middleman, managed to not just tell the story, but shape the news agenda and drive that story to a conclusion. And so the emergence of, can you imagine that without the internet, what the David Murray, Craig White, without the internet, Craig White would probably still own Rangers today in administration. Because it was punters who organised on that basis and had access to large numbers of people in an informed way, but without having the influence of the public, without having the influence of the powerful guys at the top. And that's, you can tell I'm talking about, I'm quite excited about that. I think that's quite a good thing, because I'm a kind of outsider to this kind of power relationship, but it has huge challenges for us, because I'm trying to protect my organisation's reputation. I'm trying to get people to do things, and I can't just buy somebody a lunch anymore, or send them a press release, or they phone me and I can react tomorrow. Or we're still working on that, can I phone you back Thursday? Because the digital world means somebody can have something on Twitter now, today. It's a running story. There's no there's no time lag, there's no printing timetable, there's no getting things ready for the morning stuff that gives you that thinking time. So it completely changes the job of a PR guy, I think, over time. This newspaper's still there, we still have to talk to guys, and we still have scoops, and 6 o'clock and 6:30 every night, people sit down and watch the telly, and fewer numbers, but still significant numbers. But actually there's this new thing that's happening, you've got to spend your time talking to people directly. So it means that we've got to engage with people, and we've got to engage with them directly in their way. And what all the research shows about this stuff is that organisations that don't get involved in that, just by not getting involved, it suffer by reputation. Because out there people are having conversations about you and your brand all the time. Right, it used to be you would sit at a pub and you'd have a drink and you just talk to your pals about it. But now when I was talking on Facebook about the terrible service he had off SEOProSco on the way to his office at Haymarket and here today, that was just a wee conversation with sales before, but now on Facebook you have hundreds and hundreds of pals on Facebook, and my dozen pals on Facebook. Hear about that too. So organisations have got to find a way of getting into that space, because the ones that aren't there actually by default already have a dent in their reputation. The research shows that actually just by having a social media presence, for example, you can improve your reputation no matter how that's employed. And if you engage people in that conversation, you talk to punters directly, or the customers, or the members of the public you're talking to, whatever your audience are, directly in that way, that can help give them the information, like the good old days, in the same way that reading the Daily Record would give them the information. But what that also does is it gives you an opportunity. Because what's